that go?
Random song pops in my head today, and I go,
Good evening. Tonight is a regular meeting of the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Ed on Monday, March 28th. Is that on? Yep. Good now? You good? Shaky? Okay, how about that? A little better? I hear it. You're getting it? Okay. So good evening. Tonight is a regular meeting of the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education on Monday, March 28th, 2022. Yas, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Blendo.
Here.
Dr. Blendy.
here.
Mr. Luisi.
Here.
Mrs. Martin.
Here.
Ms. Molinelli.
Yes.
Mr. Stankus.
Here.
Ms. Steffens.
Here.
Mrs. Varghese.
Here.
Mr. Weaver.
Okay, that's it. And if you could all please join me for a salute to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by mailing copies of said notice to the record, filing copies of said notice with the municipal clerks of Hillsdale, Montvale, Rivervale, and Woodcliff Lake, and publishing said notice in the record on May 18th, 2021. I would like to start tonight with the student reports, and if Hillary Siegel from Pascack Hills can lead us off.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hillary Siegel, and I'll be presenting the Pascack Hills student report for the month of March. For classroom items, this past weekend, the PVRHSD players put on their outstanding performances for 9 to 5 the musical. The spring show was based on the 1980 movie with music by Dolly Parton, a story of friendship and revenge in the Rolodex era. 3 female employees worked together to get rid of their terrible male boss and have a lot of fun along the way. The entire cast did an amazing job, along with great work from the stage crew and the director. Congratulations for yet another incredible production. Additionally, National Drug and Alcohol Fact Week took place from March 21st to March 27th. This week, encouraged by the Bergen County Division of Mental Health and Addiction Services, is a time to educate youth and allow for conversation regarding the prevention and awareness of substance abuse. There were several different speakers and health classes, as well as daily resources sent out to students and staff. Auditions for the Pascack Hills Talent Night will take place tomorrow night, March 29th. So if you have a talent that you would like to share, make sure to sign up for a spot and audition. For co-curricular items, at their competition at Bridgewater on March 5th and 6th, the Pascack Pioneers robotics team made it to the quarterfinals, and they were awarded the FMA Bridgewater Engineering Inspiration Award, which is given to a team that focuses on spreading the messages of FIRST in STEAM. Hills senior and safety captain Catherine Rinn was awarded the Safety All-Star Award. Congratulations to the team and good luck as they continue to compete. Additionally, the Future Educators of America Club is starting up again after a hiatus during the pandemic. This community service club is for any students who may possibly want to become educators or anyone who enjoys to learn and teach. There will be a few events before the end of the school year with younger students, so anyone who is interested in joining the club, there is still an opportunity to learn about FEA tomorrow, March 29th after school in room 245. The Hills Medical Club helped spread the word about a blood drive last Wednesday, March 23rd. The need for blood comes from a nationwide blood shortage, which prevents healthcare professionals from performing life-saving procedures such as surgeries and blood transfusions. Thanks to the Med Club, there was a good turnout with lots of blood donated. For athletic items, in mid-March, the girls lacrosse team took a trip to Orlando, Florida. The team played in 2 games each day for a total of 6 games. They were also able to go to Universal Studios as part of the trip and had great team bonding experiences, as well as good practice for their season, which is currently underway. Additionally, spring sports have officially started. This includes the track and field team, boys and girls lacrosse, boys tennis, baseball and softball, and golf. We are excited to see how the teams excel this year. And for the joke of the day, which superhero hits home runs?
Go ahead. Say it.
Batman.
Oh, well, very good, very good. There you go.
Very good, very good.
We should have got that.
Figure that one out.
That'll be my legacy.
Next up is Evan Scalia from Pascack Valley.
This is the Pascack Valley monthly report for the month of March. For classroom items, congratulations to the following DECA students on making it to this year's finalist round at the DECA state competition. Preston So, Alex Fleshinger, Nolan Wasserman, Sean Slevin, Danny Schwartz, and Alex Rothenberg. The students compete in a variety of business events for the competition. Congratulations on making it to the finals in the competition. For co-curricular items, the Human Rights League ran a donation drive to support Ukraine and collected $841 from the staff and students. The funds were sent to the RASM organization, RASM meeting together in Ukrainian, to support emergency humanitarian efforts for victims of the current war. Thank you to all who participated in the donation drive. For the second co-curricular item, the Pascack Valley National Honor Society members worked in January to create no-sew fleece blankets for patients at the Valley Hospital for one of our Martin Luther King service projects. We donated them to the hospital in February. For the final co-curricular item, the Pascack Valley Beekeeping Club welcomed guest speaker, 2019 American Honey Princess and New Jersey native Nicole Medina, to share her experience with bees and present a very informative program to our members. For example, did you know honeybees are covered in hair, and as they fly, they produce static electricity to make pollen literally stick to their bodies? The club also welcomed Northeast NJ Beekeeper Association Vice President John Gott to perform a hive inspection with our members. He covered how to find the queen, what to look for in the frames of the hives, and how to do a mite wash. For athletic items, congratulations to Pascack Valley girls basketball senior Jules Vassallo on being named the Records Athlete of the Week. This is a remarkable accomplishment for Jules and the entire girls basketball team. In addition to Athlete of the Week, Jules was also named to First Team All-North Jersey and First Team All-County. Jules also led all of the North Jersey in three-pointers made with a grand total of 85. These accolades capped off a wonderful stretch for the team as Jules hit a buzzer-beater three-point shot to beat Old Japan in overtime in the state tournament. If you have not seen the basket yet, you need to see it for yourself. Congratulations to Jules on all of these well-deserved honors and to the team on a truly successful season. For the second athletic item, congratulations to Pascack Valley Winter Track senior Jess Rico on being named First Team All-County and First Team All-North Jersey for winter track. Jess had a tremendous winter track season where she competed at nationals and beat the long-standing school record for long jump. Congratulations to Jess and the entire winter track team on a remarkable season. For the final athletic event, good luck to all Pascack Valley spring teams. Season openings events begin this week of March 28th. Good luck to all our teams, coaches, and families. Be sure you head out to support our spring teams. For a fun fact, the class councils have begun our annual class cause weeks, where class councils devote an entire week to raise awareness and funds for each class cause. The senior council kicked off the annual events with a volleyball tournament, a food fundraising night out, and other fundraisers for their cause. Be sure you get involved and support each council's cause. And for the joke of the day, why do we tell actors to break a leg? Because every play is a cast.
Oh, there you go. Very good. Okay. Next up is our superintendent report from Dr. Fishbein.
Just quickly, we have a few presentations later. As I reported to the board in the briefing, the state initiated Chapter 44, where they attempted to save money for the taxpayers by coming up with a new additional medical plan where new employees would go and people who are in the existing plans may transfer to that plan. When we did our calculation, we figured that it didn't save us any money at all, this new plan. The state did a calculation and said that it was going to save the district about $208,000, which had to be removed from the 22-23 budget. We appealed it, as did 180 other districts in the state, and we found out today that they agreed with our appeal, and they're not taking any of that funding away.
Great job, yes.
Yay.
That's it?
That's it?
Okay. We're going to go a little out of order tonight, not too much, but unless anybody objects, I want to go to item 10, or to area 10, whatever we want to call it. And let me just get there myself. And I'm going to ask for a motion on section 10, number 1 only, which is the appointment of the superintendent of schools. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Second. Roll call.
Dr. Blundy,
Yes.
Mr. Luisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Molinelli,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese,
Yes.
and Mr. Blundo.
Yes. Welcome Sarah Bellotti, our new superintendent, beginning January.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. I just want to thank the board for their support. I'd like to thank Dr. Fishbein for his help, and I look forward to working with him through this transition. And I also look forward to working with all of you and the rest of the school community starting this summer and hopefully transitioning between now and then. So thank you so much. I look forward to working with everyone. I'm very excited to be on board. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome.
Congratulations.
Okay, we'll go back to the top of the agenda and go right down the list. And routine matters, we do have one agenda item under routine matters. I believe it's just one, yes. Can we have a motion on the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call? Discussion? Hearing none, roll call?
Dr. Blundy,
Yes to everything except abstaining from March 21st.
Mr. Luisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Molinelli,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese,
Yes.
Mr. Blundo.
Yes. Okay, now, the reason most folks are here today, we have some recognitions. I'll read these, some of them. Number one is the seal of biliteracy. Whereas Pascack Valley Regional High School District had a total of 109 students, 53 from Pascack Valley and 56 from Pascack Hills, who earned the New Jersey State and Global Seals of Biliteracy. These accomplishments were celebrated at Celebrate Languages ceremony held at Pascack Valley and Pascack Hills in December of 2021. Students will be receiving official seal of biliteracy certificates in June of 2022. Therefore, now be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School Board of Education recognize and commend these students for their outstanding achievements. They're not here, correct? Okay. All right, let's get a motion on that, seal of biliteracy. Just number one. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call? I know, I threw you off.
You did.
You only do this 5 times a night. So.
I know, but we normally don't do these recognitions. Dr. Blundy.
Yes.
Mr. Luisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Absolutely.
Ms. Molinelli,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese,
Yes.
and Mr. Blundo.
Yes. So we have 2 remaining items under student recognition, and the first one is Dacia Jarvis here? Am I saying that right? Please. I'm not saying it right. Come on down, and you could. Ms. Jarvis, a senior at Pascack Hills High School, is a recipient of the Girls and Women in Sports Award. This celebration inspires girls and women to play and be active and to realize their full power. This award is given through the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association, and now therefore be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District recognize and commend Dacia? How am I doing? Deja. Deja, I'm sorry. Now I know.
Deja.
Deja. And I'm going to ask if Coach Valentina DeSantis is here. If you can come on down. And Coach Dina Noon. So coaches, we're going to ask you to bring up your 2022 Dance Team Union National Champions, whereas the following students from Pascack Hills and Pascack Valley High Schools are the 2022 Dance Team Union National Champions in Small Varsity Pom and second place national winners in Dance Team Union Large Varsity Team performance. Dance Team Union was founded to help dance teams flourish and thrive in a camp and competition setting. Congratulations, coaches. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
And please call up your team.
Okay. Emma Brzozowski, come on up. Lucy Brennan, I don't believe is here, but Lucy Brennan. Sienna Bruno. Lisa DeGuys. Sam Forrest. Abby Fox. Zoe Grabo. Sophia Haig. Elizabeth Jensick. Caitlin Johnson. Gia Macaluso. Olivia Markel, who got one of those biliteracy things, by the way. Olivia.
Great.
She got a biliteracy seal.
All right, very good. That's two.
Lily Mamija. Jackie Pizzi. Madison Scroy. Oh, and that's, how come my other girls aren't on here?
Are we missing somebody? No?
Olivia Matisich. And Jessie Marin. Sorry, girls. Yeah, they are. Okay. I can go down there.
Yeah, if you're going to take pictures.
Come on down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. It really was.
They're used to it.
So we do have to have a motion for items 2 and 3.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Other than anytime you have the word national in top of any championship, it's that much more special. Great job, again. Okay. What's up? Oh, we need a roll call, yes.
Dr. Blundy.
Yes.
Mr. Luisi.
Yes.
Mrs. Martin.
Yes.
Ms. Molinelli.
Yes.
Mr. Stankus.
Yes.
Ms. Steffens.
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese.
Yes.
Mr. Blundo.
Yes. Now, I know most of you were here for that presentation. We are going to have a presentation on the school climate survey and the board and district goals. Feel free, if you want to stay, we'd love for you to stay, but if you want to leave, now's a good time to leave.
The natural break in the action.
We gotta get this a chance.
I know, I was a little disjointed.
Put them on mic.
Yeah, I know, but it's, I guess I shouldn't have, but we did.
Your kids and their friends are
There's no need to, when you think about it.
I don't know. I don't know.
Gives them another chance to clap. Okay. Sorry. So, as I mentioned, we have two presentations, one on the school climate survey, and Dr. Mark Russo, you're going to lead us off.
Thank you, Mr. Belendo, and the Board of Education for giving me the opportunity to speak. Am I okay? Yeah? Okay. In the coming weeks, informed by the board policy on surveying students, we will be implementing a school climate survey through a partnership with Rutgers University. The New Jersey School Climate Improvement Survey is designed to help schools obtain multiple perspectives on aspects of school climate and will help us better understand strengths and needs in our schools. The survey will be available for students, parents, and staff, and it is completely anonymous and completely voluntary. Administration of the student survey will take place from April 12th to April 14th during phys ed class. And information about the survey, including a link to the questions themselves, will be emailed home this week. Parents will have the opportunity to opt their student out, and since the survey is completely voluntary, students will have that same opportunity. Our intention this year is to have 2 school climate teams, one at Hills and one at Valley, made up of students, faculty, and administrators. The hope is that having 2 teams will enable each school to focus on its unique culture and climate, while still allowing for the opportunity to collaborate on shared goals and experiences. The school climate teams will be able to view aggregated responses on a password-protected online platform, but no one will have access to individual respondents' answers. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to sharing the results of the school climate survey in the coming months. I don't know if there are any questions, but I'm happy to
Anybody have
answer.
anything for Mark? I want to thank you for taking, steps to really explain the transparency, that everyone can look at the questions, they can opt out. Just some of the feedback that we've gotten over the last couple of years in various surveys, that it's going to be given during phys ed. And so I appreciate you taking the time to outline all of that for the public and for us.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is the board and district goals updates, which will be jointly delivered by Dr. Barry Backenheimer and Dr. Dan Fishbein. I don't know if you're...
So good evening, members of the Board of Education and the public. We're here today to give a brief update to our district goals, of which we have 4 that we'll be sharing with you this evening. Our first update is going to be presented on our wellness goal by Dr. Sean Strunsis, our Supervisor of Counseling, and Ms. Alyssa Merritt, our Regional Instruction and Curriculum Coordinator.
My happy hour receipt.
Good evening. We wanted to update you on some of the exciting things we've been doing so far this year. From a K-8 perspective, I've been continuing to support all of our sending districts on their district-specific initiatives because they do vary from town to town. I've continued to make myself available for a variety of wellness topics through Second Cup of Coffee, which is a virtual event where teachers can pop in and out. We've also extended for the second year support groups, which have been offered to the parents and guardians in our sending districts in partnership with the amazing wellness teams at Hills and Valley. So we offered 4 events, 2 are in person, 2 are virtual. This is just a screenshot of that. It was wonderful. The teams here have so much to offer, so we are going to continue with all of those initiatives as we progress through the year.
Good evening, everyone. And just a continuation of that and a follow-up. The high school counselors are having our quarterly articulation meetings with the middle school counselors, and they're continuing this spring and will at the end of the year. Just this past month, we implemented our SOS program, which is the signs of suicide at both Pascack Hills and Pascack Valley. That was implemented in all of our freshman health classes. Okay. We've also implemented programs called Healing Space, and I know throughout the course of the year I've updated you on our mindfulness-based practices that we're implementing before school and in health classes, as well as psychology classes. Our health and wellness counselors. We're also offering yoga courses, yoga opportunities for students and staff before school and during the school day. And of course, our annual Hills Valley Coalition program is coming in a couple of weeks. It'll be here at Pascack Hills, which of course is an opportunity for our students and our parents and our entire communities, all 4 communities, to come together. We will have our annual mental health and wellness fair prior to the program from 6 to 7 p.m. And then, of course, our keynote speaker at 7. Okay, so we hope that everyone here this evening can make that program, and certainly will advocate and will continue to support these initiatives. Thank you.
For our second goal was regarding student metrics. As you know, this was taking a look at internal data acquisition practices in each of our academic departments with the ultimate goal of improving instruction across the board. Unrelated, but also tangential, 2 weeks ago we administered the New Jersey Graduate Proficiency Assessment to all of our 11th graders. This is a new graduation requirement for current juniors. I want to publicly commend our counseling department and our building administration for a flawless administration, and especially our tech department for helping to troubleshoot a new test. But aside from maybe 10 minutes at the beginning of the first day of exams, it really went off without a hitch. So I want to thank them publicly for all of their efforts. In regards to our internal metrics, our ongoing work in each of our academic departments, in world language, specifically we are looking at presentational writing. As you can see by the large number of students that we had in the Sealed by Literacy, our world language department truly focuses on communication skills, reading, writing, and speaking. So in this particular area with their portfolios with a focus on literacy, for the second semester of school, they're really taking a hard look at free voluntary reading, especially in their class libraries. They have books and magazines in the target language. And the idea is that by building these interpretive reading skills, we're going to see direct correlation with the strength of their writing skills as a result. If you can read well, hopefully you can write well, and then speaking follows. So across the board, our portfolios are getting filled up. And as part of this prompt, they're going to administer the same writing prompt they administered at the beginning of the year, again at the end of the year, to be able to gauge the progress students made in literacy across the board, in world language. In English, we utilize a tool called IXL and Common Lit. So they've been using ongoing assessments, and the skills that were pulled together are skills that directly match up to skills that one would see on the ACT and SAT exams. So for 9th graders, this means things like commas and clauses and parts of speech and modifiers. For 10th grade, pronouns, subject-verb agreement, parallelism, and sentence structure. For 11th grade, transitional phrases, dashes and use of semicolons, sentences and fragments. And for 12th grade, review of all the skills, introduction to new skills, pulling it all together. So they're assessed on these various skills, including reading comprehension, main idea, supporting documents, et cetera, as part of IXL. In the mid-year assessment, they were able to identify areas of need and focusing on those needs for the second half of the year, and then they'll administer this assessment again at the end and be able to draw conclusions about how well we've addressed those students' need in ELA. In math, these benchmarks assessments that have been noted in Algebra 1, 2, and Geometry, and again aligned to questions that students would see on the various state assessments as well as ACTs and SATs. Currently undergoing some mid-year analysis, but until we really take a look at both mid-year and end of the year, it's hard to draw any conclusions at this point, but the math department continues to work with students, a combination of both in-class and out-of-class working on various skills. In biology, this is the first year that we're going to administer a 9th grade test, and this is going to be an end-of-the-year assessment that's a phenomena-based assessment where students are going to use skills based on the next generation science standards. They're going to have to perform a performance-based task to interpret and use all the various skills that they've acquired throughout the year, and then this, of course, will come together in this science practices that the department will then evaluate. And then lastly, in social studies, looking at the 6 social studies skills that have been embedded. The social studies staff is using a variety of things, as you see up here: primary source evidence, historical significance, continuity and change, cause and consequence, and historical perspectives. So several of these skills have been certainly in play, and they're going to make sure that all 6 skills have been addressed by the end of this particular school year. Teachers use a color-coded marking in Genesis and in their grade books to keep track of the various skills that are done there. And so the idea is that focusing on the second semester, these skills are represented across the board in the various assessments they're doing in social studies. So in short, for the last, when we do our end-of-the-year follow-up, we'll be able to give you far more robust data across the board, but all these assessments remain in progress. Our supervisors are doing an excellent job staying on top of it, looking at the data, and leading their teachers through this process.
I have a question, Barry.
Yes.
So linking goal 1 and 2 together, to what extent are the sending districts going to be able to meet the minimum levels of academic rigor that we're doing here in goal number 2? Are we sure that the middle schools have the academic rigor so that when the kids finally get into the 9th grade, they're going to be able to meet some of these standards?
Yes, and that's really, as you know, the main job of our regional curriculum office. You heard earlier from Ms. Merritt, who's really doing a fantastic job making sure that's the case. We work very closely with the curriculum supervisors from each of our sending districts. We are together on curriculum, we're together on professional development. In fact, tomorrow, Ms. Merritt has put together a phenomenal program on the new health and wellness standards that all K through 8 and K through 12 schools have to put in place. She's brought in a speaker that's going to help us, and teachers from all across the region will be part of this experience. And we're doing this in all areas that are under curriculum revision. And you can see by the fact that our schools, in terms of what we're seeing in terms of these different departments, Hills and Valley getting closer together in terms of performance. And I see that as a direct correlation of the work from our regional curriculum office and the ongoing partnership between the two schools. So I can say with strong assurance that absolutely they will be ready.
Great.
Now going to turn it over to Mr. Orlak, who, as an aside, it is his birthday, and I'm thrilled that he's spending his birthday with us. Talk us about our civics goals.
Thank you. So again, this particular goal falls on Team Orlak. So I'm going to break it down into real-world learning for our special education students, our business department evaluation, and obviously civics. So our teachers for real-world learning for our special education students, focusing on the 15 identifiable skills, those professional skills, have highlighted the importance of those skills in each of our classes. We've taken lessons from our job shadowing program and brought that information back into our transition education classes and our LLD program. We've created an inventory of skills for career readiness for our special education students. So we're seeing success with the real-world learning for our special education students. Business department, it is an evaluation year, and we know the importance of business education. We are looking to develop a curriculum over the summer. We've made connections with other high-performing schools and looking at their offerings, including but not limiting to sports management and accounting seems to be really popular. So we're looking at dual enrollment possibilities as well as other opportunities for our business students. And then finally, civics. As the board knows, we have expanded the civics program based on the Social Studies Standard 6.3, Active Civics. This is an ongoing, perpetual goal, whether it be for the board or obviously for the Social Studies Department. And our big picture, obviously, is concepts, transferability, and action for our kids. Civic skills and knowledge are all tied to the curriculum across all the grade levels. Civic exposure, which is a big part of what we've engaged in this year thus far, we've had a variety of speakers. Jeff Steinfeld has come talked about immigration, Larry Meyerson about civil rights, President Blundo has spoke to Pascack Valley about the Board of Education, the role of the Board of Education and service as a politician in a local town. Betty Soskin, the oldest national park ranger. Maybe some of you have seen her on CBS this morning a few months ago. She actually did a Google Meet with our Social Studies History Club here at Pascack Hills. Borislav Bilash has talked about Ukraine and America and his experience with his family still in the Ukraine, Hank McNally, an educator, which I'm sure Dr. Fishbein knows from Ridgewood. Hank McNally has come and spoken to our students about civil rights as an activist. And something that I'm really, really proud of, Lieutenant General Ted Martin, who is the commanding officer of the Armor School at Fort Leavenworth. I did not serve under him, but he is a phenomenal person, big Twitter presence. He's speaking with our students about the role of service. And interesting with Lieutenant General Martin, his family dates back to every war that this country has been engaged with, including Daniel Martin, who fought with the 1st New Jersey Regiment in the American Revolution. So we have that New Jersey connection, and he's very much excited to speak with our students. And then finally, Dr. Alberto Mencarelli, who's a parliamentary official at the Italian Chamber of Deputies, and we'll be speaking with our freshmen about international affairs and the role of government from that side. Civic action, we continue to look at different units within our classes, and that's Progressive Unit, New Deal, Civil Rights. And these are obviously tied to real-world problems that we are focusing on and issues. Our students, and some of them are watching tonight, are taking time to observe virtual meetings, whether it be the Board of Education or local community and town government organizations. And their job is to reach out to stakeholders about local issues and state and national issues. And just as a final point, and I know I talk too much, but you know, I really am proud to be part of this district and to see what our students do, especially our clubs. And our clubs are involved in all aspects of civics, whether they be some governmental aspect or philanthropic. They really want to focus on the betterment of the community, and whether that is the TAC, One Spirit, Project Patterson, and so many others, our students are really go, and our advisors go above and beyond. And we may not think of that as a civics goal, attached to civics goal, but it absolutely is, right? Because we want to create productive citizens. So we are well on our way for this perpetual goal. I expect to be speaking with you forever as we move forward and meet our mandate when it comes to civics. Any questions from the board? And thank you again, Joe, for speaking. Love doing it. It's fun.
I think it's really great you're preparing special ed kids for the real world of work and allowing every student that comes into our door to be able to be prepared for what happens after the high school experience. It's not always been the case nationally, even regionally or locally, and I'm really proud that that's a benchmark that we're doing great on. So thank you for that.
I absolutely agree, obviously. My son Justin is a sophomore here at Pascack Hills in the LLD program, and look at the opportunities that this district gives him. It's just absolutely amazing. So I could not be prouder of what we do.
Great. And happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Orlek. And quick photos of some of the things that he was referring to there, including Mr. Blundo presenting to our students over at Valley. And for our last goal, Dr. Russo is going to talk about our ongoing DEI goal.
So thank you again, and I'll be brief. A big thrust of the equity and inclusivity work is based on the results we get from the school climate survey, so we will have that information in the coming months. But more generally this year, there's been a focus in the district on the importance of representation, and students and faculty in the district have shared information about and celebrated things like Black History Month, currently Women's History Month, and other types of celebrations. The faculty has been invited to participate in optional professional development through our connection with the North Jersey Consortia of Excellence Through Equity. And individuals have participated in workshops on the importance of, among other things, family engagement, tools for creating and maintaining a culture of dignity, overcoming racism, and the importance of democratic classrooms and student voice. So thank you to the Board of Education for this goal and for your continued support of equity and inclusivity throughout the district.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any general questions about the district goals we just shared before I turn over to Dr. Fishbein and board goals?
If you just click through them, they're pretty easy. All right, so we reached this goal this evening with hiring of Sarah Bellotti. That's great. And the second goal had to do with training in the areas of school finance. And 2 meetings ago, we finished that. There were 6 sessions that Yas or members of his department planned and presented to the board. So as far as the board goals, both goals have been met. Great.
Thank you, Dan. I want to just talk a little bit about special ed, since I wasn't at the microphone here while Joe was presenting. I know we all have these kind of stories, but just this weekend, I happened to be in the company of a parent who's out of district, but their child was placed actually here at Hills. And I was with this person for about 10 hours, and for about 8 of them, she was just lauding the program and the teachers and the people that ran the program, and she's had good experiences, but when she came here, it was just off the charts. So when you hear that, when you're not out there seeking it, you hear it kind of anecdotally, it was very special. So I'm not going to say more, can protect that confidentiality, but great job to that team. So, okay, any other comments about either of the goals? Presentations, very good. So we're next up for comments from the public. Citizens are invited to make comments regarding this first time just for agenda items and are limited to 3 minutes based on the new policy 0167. Persons wishing to speak must, upon being recognized, rise, state their name, and sign in, and their town of residency. So with that, we are open to the public. Ms. Adams?
I'm already up to 2 seconds here. First of all, you mentioned special education. Ms. Bellotti has wonderful background in special education, and I know some of those students who have been blessed by the programs here at Pascack Hills High School. So thank you again for mentioning that. My name's Carol Lee Adams, Montvale for 50 years, I guess. As the selection of Ms. Sarah Bellotti as the next superintendent of schools was only made known to the general public on Friday, March 25th, it appears that the public has not been allowed an opportunity to participate in an in-person forum to seek in-depth input from her directly that would have been welcomed by many in the interest of transparency. Therefore, within 3 minutes, probably less, I asked the following questions of you for your answers tonight, and hoping they were asked of Ms. Bellotti by you. What was the method Ms. Bellotti used to make known to the well-regarded 17-year vice principal of North Warren Regional High School, 2 years from retirement, that he was being fired, particularly focusing on the fact that there were over 1,600 of the Warren Regional High School community that signed a petition to reinstate him? You can see the published newspaper article I included with this. Was that firing made transparent to him by her, or did he learn of such in other ways? Number 2, did Ms. Bellotti have a strategic plan for the high school district? Did the school community know of it and embrace it? How was it successful? What were some of her positive accomplishments of that plan, if such existed? Did Ms. Bellotti consider the morale at the high school healthy and positive? If yes, what are some examples? If no, how did she make it better? Number 4, was Ms. Bellotti's interaction with parents in the PTO one that fostered great dialogue and respect, and who were undoubtedly among the 1,600 who signed the aforementioned petition? Number 5, would Ms. Bellotti support legislation in the state of New Jersey, introduced last year and again this year, and introduced by some legislators that include the North Warren Regional High School District, with bill names such as the Parental Bill of Rights Act, that generally references the right of parents to direct the education and upbringing of their children that shall not be infringed, and also other legislation returning to elected local boards of education the power to set curriculum without the requirement to adhere to the statewide learning standards set by the unelected State Board of Education? So those are questions that I've talked now for 2 minutes and 19 seconds, so I'm within the time frame. You may choose to, I wish that this could have been questioned in person with Ms. Bellotti rather than over the microphone like this. Publicly speaking, I think that opportunity should have been given to us. But nevertheless, I would like to mention again that thank you very much for the special, Ms. Bellotti introduced herself to me, which I truly appreciate. Truly appreciate her involvement in special education, knowing the students who have benefited by special ed here at Pascack Hills, and some who are coming. Sometimes all they need is a best friend. Very simple. They don't have best friends, and that's what I have found with some of the special ed students that I know. So that these questions have been asked with your due response. As I said, I wish it had been asked in person rather than over the microphone, but I will come, by the way, Dr. Bockenheimer mentioned as an example the test that, this is an add-on, and I'm still within my time frame. Dr. Bockenheimer, I'm in 3 minutes and 13 seconds.
Go ahead.
Dr. Bockenheimer mentioned about the test that the students took just last week. I learned from someone such as Julie Borst from Save Our Schools, which some of you know, that test is really meaningless, that it isn't needed anymore to graduate. So it was a waste of time. And I regret that the students, whether they took it or not, and it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
And that, you know, once again, did you know that? I didn't know that till I read Julie's commentary on, from Save Our Schools. That seems like such a waste. So what kind of testing are we giving the students they don't necessarily have?
Appreciate your comments, Ms. Adams.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want me to sit down?
We gave you a little extra time, but we have to.
No, you haven't. I've only talked for 4 minutes. I'm sorry. I've committed. Oh, penance. Thank you.
In terms of your first questions, we're not going to get into the specifics of the interviews in the background of every candidate, but I can tell you, I'm going to leave out number 5, but 1 through 4 were thoroughly vetted different ways in an interview process, okay?
And number
One
5
way or another.
And number 5 will get, forgive me, I'm really sorry about the 3-minute. Oh, I did.
Okay. Any other members of the public? Seeing no hands, we'll close to the public, and we'll go to policy, and we have 5 consent agenda items. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Dr. Blundy.
Yes.
Mr. Luisi.
Yes.
Mrs. Martin.
Yes.
Ms. Molinelli.
Yes.
Mr. Stankus.
Yes.
Ms. Steffens.
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese.
Yes.
Mr. Blundo.
Yes. For education, we have 4 consent agenda items. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Dr. Blundy.
Yes.
Mr. Luisi.
Yes.
Mrs. Martin.
Yes.
Ms. Molinelli.
Yes.
Mr. Stankus.
Yes.
Ms. Steffens.
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese.
Yes.
Mr. Blundo.
Yes. All right, for number 10, human resources, we've already passed number 1, so that leaves us with items 2 through 14 as consent agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Dr. Blundy.
Yes.
Mr. Luisi.
Yes.
Mrs. Martin.
Yes.
Ms. Molinelli.
Yes.
Mr. Stankus.
Yes.
Ms. Steffens.
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese.
Yes.
Mr. Blundo.
Yes. And for finance, we have 31 consent agenda items. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I do want to mention that we had a few donations that are here. For the robotics team, we got a donation from NU Product Seasoning Company in the amount of $2,000, and a $225 donation from Bob Buccino to the Pascack Hills Bowling Team. So we like to call out and appreciate our donors. We have a motion and a second. Are there any other comments? We'll have a roll call then.
Dr. Blundy.
Yes.
Mr. Luisi.
Yes.
Mrs. Martin.
Yes.
Ms. Molinelli.
Yes.
Mr. Stankus.
Yes.
Ms. Steffens.
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese.
Yes.
Mr. Blundo.
Yes. Okay. Give me a second to flip through all of these. Okay, we are up to old business. Is there a Finance Committee report?
I believe that was Mr. Weaver.
Okay, so we'll have to do that next.
Well, generally,
He was
we
absent,
discussed,
though.
yeah, generally, we discussed the budget and the impact of Chapter 44, which I talked about earlier, and we discussed generally what Yas went over at the last meeting when we submitted the preliminary budget to the county superintendent.
Thank you. Anyone have any new business?
Could I just say something about old business?
Absolutely.
I'm very excited to carry on this whole excitement around the bees and the celebratory nature with which we are really looking at nature in a different way in the classroom with the kids. And so I just think it's really great that we're continuing really taking this project seriously. Not just for the fact it's fun, but I think the kids really, there's so much learning to be had with that, so.
Great. So I should say any other old business? Now any new business? Okay. We are up to our second comments from the public, and this time it can be on any item at all. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak? Ms. Adams.
I've got it again, and this time I know it's 3. Just to let you know that I want to express my formal appreciation to board members Louisi and Molinelli for opposing this time limit that was given. And I fully understand and respect the fact that you were working late into the night to look at the various resumes that were put before you, and you wanted to get home. And as you know, I have publicly complimented you and in regard to the fact that you are unpaid. You are one of the few governing bodies that I know of that are not paid for all that you do, and so you were spending until midnight. So for someone like me who might be babbling on more than 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever, I can understand your reluctance to limit it. To extend it to 5. But I still suggest that you consider that, you just gave me the opportunity to speak longer than 3, and I appreciate it, but that if you have a huge number of people participating, then 3 minutes is certainly understandable. But if you have somebody who wants to spend more than, I don't want you to in any way contract the mama bears who may be coming out in the future, as they have been in the future, to do that. I'd like to say to Mr. Orzak that he should come to my house at Halloween. I have a huge civics and opportunity to give out to 300 children the opportunity to vote. I put out my Beanie Baby elephant, I put out my Beanie Baby donkey, and I put out my Beanie Baby eagle, and they vote, and the eagle always wins. And I ask the questions as soon as the little kids come to the door. And I have my whole house festooned in red, white, and blue because it's right before Election Day. So I say to the children, they come to the door, they're so adorable. And I say, are you here to vote? And they'll take 3 steps back. No. Well, what are you here for? For candy? Well, you get that too. I said, but let me ask you, how old do you have to be to vote? So I asked them accelerating questions leading up to age-appropriate questions, and the answers that I got are remarkable. And I get up to the fact about asking them for the foundational document of our country, and I will tell you the interesting responses I get from that. And I've been doing this for a number of years, so most of the kids now know these questions. So they walk away with a pocket constitution that I get from our congressman's office, if they answer that correctly. And I always say to the fact that, why do these kids stay here at my doorstep with this crazy lady asking them questions, civics questions? And they say, because you show an interest in them. And that's as simple as it is. So, I mean, there are so many opportunities for us in so many different venues to encourage our young people to get involved in civics in a very responsible and a very educational and a very active way, as I hope you are doing. I hope you're also including some people for, I don't know if I heard you mention or not, whether or not our officers of the peace, for them to come before the students to talk about their professions. Lawyers, oh yes, they are among us. And there's so many opportunities to engage children, forensic scientists, and I understand from somebody I was talking to earlier today how you have a class like that in the school, and I think that's wonderful. But the last thing, and I'm almost out of time, so please forgive me, do you know or will you support the rights bills that are, the parental rights bills that are coming forward to you that will basically allow us, our local Board of Education, to remove ourselves from the State Board of Education learning standards? I want you to investigate that. I don't know who your governmental liaison is, but I can certainly put you in touch with these legislators who have proposed it. It's coming from 3 different parts of the state. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we do have a closed session, executive session this evening, and we will not be taking action afterwards. So is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak? Okay, seeing no hands, I'd like to entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Is there a second? Do we have to roll call? No. All right, we're in executive session. Thank you.